So I'm having a problem with the display on my Kenwood, and so I think I have figured out a way to correct it. You can see the dark area in the center. I turn it on, and you can see the outline of the main part of the display, but on the edges, it's very difficult to read what is there unless you turn it at a particular angle or whatever, and you can see more or less at different times. I think I know how to fix it. It's an LCD display, and so there are some polarizing film that aligns the crystals or allows light to pass through or not pass through. And I believe that I can change the film, remove the bad film, and replace it with good film, and see if that doesn't work. Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to try to do is to shut the power off and disconnect the power cable. And now this panel, you can see the discoloration. There's two screws, very tiny Phillips head. Those need to be removed in order for the back plate to come off. There are two lock rings underneath these knobs, one bigger one under this knob. These knobs are held on by tension. So to remove the knobs, you just pull on them and they'll come right off. This is a little bit more stiff. Okay. This little plastic insert won't come out until the lock ring is removed. So you need a tool to loosen these lock rings. It might be a little bit difficult to see, but inside there are two grooves. One there, one on the opposite side. And this one's one there, one on the opposite side. Those have to be engaged by something like a plier, something like this, to get in there so that you can turn the lock ring. Actually, this pliers don't work as well as this does. And once they're loose, let's go ahead and get this one. Once they're loose, I use a small screwdriver to just get them all the way off. Then there's a good shot of the two smaller rings, the plastic insert, and we'll just put them over in this tray over here. Once those are done, there are two small Phillips head screws right in there. Be careful, they will strip out very easily. Now, when you take the back plate off, you want to make sure that it's face down, because these buttons here and these here and these across the bottom will fall out if you try to take it off this way. So keep it oriented in this direction, and then you can remove the back cover. There's a little mylar sheet, plastic sheet, that can be removed too and set aside. Now there are two screws, one there and one there, that hold this PC board inside the front panel, and we'll take that off next. This is what I was talking about. These little plastic pieces will fall out, but you can set this aside now. And the tuning knobs for the band A, band B, here and here, those can be removed. They're on a little socket subboard. You can take those off. We can set those aside. And the next thing is, there is these, it's hard to see on the video, but right inside here, there's a little, notice the color difference between a lighter color and a darker color. Well, this little darker color piece of plastic goes behind the ribbon cable, and it holds it in place with tension so that the ribbon connector makes full contact with this socket. But just moving them forward and getting it back in is tricky too. So, but it's not attached, at least it wasn't on mine. It comes completely out. You can set it aside, and then the ribbon cable comes out. No problem there. Now, there are 4 metal tabs here, 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 and here, which need to be bent in order to remove the LCD panel from the PC board. I'm just going to use needle nose pliers. That one, this one, and this one, not too bad. But these two down here have to fit through slots in the PC board, so they need to be rather straight. Once you do that, the PC board should come loose. There we go. And you can set the PC board aside. And what's left is the metal cover frame for the LCD display. That just comes off. You can set that aside. And what's left is the actual LCD display. Now you can still see the discoloration there, but this is basically 2 pieces of glass, and the LCD display is like in the middle, and then there's a backlighting on the back side, and this is a reflective or gives some contrast, and then there's a film that is on the front side here that has to be removed, and that's what I'm going to attempt to replace. And I just got in from Amazon, and I'll show that in just a minute. Okay, so this is the package. You can see it's 10.5-inch polarized film sheet and at 90 degrees. And we will see how that makes a difference in a little bit. Right now, let me open this package up. enough material that I should be able to do what I need to do with this. It looks to be like some kind of indicator line about which direction that the sheet or the angle of this polarization runs in, but there are two different sheets in here, and it has an adhesive back. Now, I'm going to put this back in here for now because I got to get the old film off of the LCD panel, and we'll do that next. All right, so now for the removal. If you have a razor blade, probably would work really well to remove it, but it's not necessarily required. You just need to be very careful with the glass itself because you can break it. It's going to leave some adhesive residue behind, and we'll clean that off later. Okay, so I saw a video from a Japanese man that was talking about this, and they called it vinegar syndrome, and it has to do with a chemical reaction from this polarization film, which may contain acetate or may be partially made of acetate. And I just smelled this residue that's around here, and indeed it does smell like vinegar. So they called it vinegar syndrome. Anyway, I'm going to get some alcohol to clean up this display and get this residue off of here. I'm just using a cotton swab and isopropyl alcohol. I think this is 70% isopropyl. Just don't try to go too fast. Be patient. And make sure you, I'm actually meaning to get a razor blade. It appears to be that there's another layer of adhesive that is still stuck. Yeah, we're going to try to do, I'm going to get a razor blade. Yeah, there's definitely something there. And not the best razor blade. I may have to go get some replacement. This one's been in my toolbox for no telling how long. hope I didn't mess up my display. We'll find out. So the radio is on. I actually put the display back in to check and see what I was dealing with and whether or not I was destroying my display or not. And if you can see up in the upper right corner, I've removed a lot of the adhesive down to the bare glass, and I thought I might be damaging the display. But as you can see, this is the film, and when I put it there, you can clearly see that it reveals the part even where I thought I might have damaged it. So I'm going to continue on removing the adhesive and we'll go from there. But if this is supposed to be negative mode, you can see that 90 degrees or rotating at 180 degrees, or rather rotating at 90 degrees makes a difference in the way the display is. So when I put the new material on, you see the vertical line on this piece, but if I get the other one, the line is horizontal, and it appears that this is the orientation that it needs to be in, so that if I change it from negative to positive, that the display will react accordingly. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and change that, or finish cleaning that up. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to try using a better blade. This one all rusty, but let's see if we can get any better results than what I got with the first one. It's crystallized underneath that adhesive. Well, this razor blade's obviously working a lot better than the other one. It's probably acetic acid crystals. I'm having to apply a fair amount of pressure in order to get this part to come off. Interesting. All right. All right, let's see what the alcohol does now. It'll evaporate, so it shouldn't interfere with any of the electronics. I think the surface needs to be as clean as possible. And this is probably not the best way to go about cleaning this. And I make no warranties about how it will work for you. But this is my attempt, and I've already reconciled the fact that if I destroy my display, that that's just the way that it's going to be. Hopefully, I won't have any. Try not to slice my hand open. All right. Okay, loosening. I don't know how well this is coming out on the video, but definitely I'm able to remove some stuff. I can still see some more there. Let's try and get that. All right. Well, now I'm going to try and hook it back up and see what difference we have now from a moment ago. Oh, that's the backlight. All right, so I've got the LCD back installed. Getting this in is pretty tricky. So what I'm going to do now is hook it back up, and then we'll look and see what the difference is with the display. It's not all the way installed again yet. Okay. You can't see anything here because there's no polarization. Actually, there's some very faint, probably from burn-in, but let's see. Nope, it's actually very faint. But with the polarization film, notice all the buttons, labels on the sides are very legible now. And that would be the negative display. And I'm pretty sure that would be the positive display. If I change it to that, to me is the negative display, which I do not like. So if I do it that way, I have that band around the outside. I don't like that either. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the correct orientation. Let's look at the other film and see if it's the same. So, yep, so the horizontal line on this film indicates which direction it's going in, but that peels off because there's an adhesive layer on this, but there's protective coating on this as well. So I need to go cut this to size so that we can then reaffix it to the front glass and then reassemble. We should be done. All right, so now for final reassembly. I already started. I got the film back on, cut the size, and put on. There's a few bubbles in it, but you know what? At this point, if I wanted to try again, I could. But just reattaching the components to the front panel. Let's get this in. This in. Mylar. This on. Before I screw that in, I'm going to put these on. Make sure the notches go up when you put these little retaining rings on. Don't press too hard or you will disconnect them from that back PC board. Doesn't have to be super tight. Okay. So earlier in the video, the framing wasn't great on the reinstallation of these knobs, so I'm doing a short little insert for that. The knobs are keyed, and this one is pretty straightforward. And these are actually in two parts. So there's an inner part, and it only goes on one way. So it has these two notches that are designed to fit inside on that. And then the outer knob is keyed similar to the large knob. Oops. All right. And the second thing in this video is about the installation of the material. So I didn't show that, forgot to do the record on the camera, but basically this is a piece of the polarization material, and it has two layers, and it's a little bit tricky to get off, but one layer, this is just a protective layer, which then this peels right off, and then the other layer, the other side, is where the adhesive is. So this is the adhesive part, and the way that I did it is I just laid it down similar to how you would on a phone, and then I used my little ruler here to kind of smooth things out as I went along the side of the glass in order to get it installed. I'm going to save this little piece here. So what ended up happening was there were a few bubbles. I don't even think you can see them in the video. They're really not very noticeable here. I was able to smooth out as much as possible, and it may be that there was some small debris that was still, or residue that was still stuck on the glass that caused the film not to lay down completely flat. But otherwise, this is the end. After these knobs get installed, that's basically the last thing that needs to be done. Looks like I didn't get this one on right. All right. And that looks pretty dang good to me. Anyway, I hope this video helps someone with their radio or even another type of LCD display. This is not necessarily unique to the Kenwood, but this is how I did it on mine and the kind of results that I got. So I hope this video helps, and thanks for watching. Bye.